Now, Liveleak Investigations, the news magazine for the website of the 21st century, with your host, Professor Iggy Noramus.
This is Iggy Noramus, Professor Emeritus of the University of Paramus, for Liveleak Investigations. A dangerous plot to take over the internet has been foiled by operatives of the USA website, the details of which we will outline in this program. The USA section has become the third most important commodity on the internet, right behind Facebook and Amazon.com. So control of the USA section will lead to great fame and influence worldwide. There has been an attempt to monopolize this content, and in so doing, monopolize your say. This elaborate scheme was masterminded by this man. You know him as Mongoose 5000. His mass uploading of videos has had a profound negative effect on viewership on your say, down 13% from a year ago. We went out on the street and asked your say viewers what they thought about Mongoose 5000.
Mongoose? Mongoose stinks.
This is the worst I've ever seen on Liveleak.
Sexist pig.
This is an amazing story involving intrigue, incredible coincidences, and chance meetings. Mongoose has been a busy man trying to control your say. He began by ousting Ricky Tikki Tavi in a territorial dispute, making him the only weasel in town. There is also evidence to support that he was the one who turned in Mr. God to you for drinking that beer in his truck. The hideousness of his uploads are obvious. We contacted Owen Higgins to find out how Mongoose's videos affected him.
He burned out my retinas.
And finally, Mongoose was blackmailing a former associate, Gort Evans, to get the money necessary to buy the equipment to hack into your say and use it as a springboard for internet domination. With us now is Pablo Melendez-Hersheybar, an internet investigator, a consultant to ICON, and a Liveleak super user. He will fill us in on the details of this amazing story. Mr. Hersheybar, welcome to our program. My name is Hersheybar. Pablo Melendez-Hersheybar, not Hersheybar. I am not a chocolate candy. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Hershey. I'm sorry, sir. Well, won't you tell us how Mongoose wound up here on Liveleak and how you were associated with him in the past? Well, it is important to be clear here that the people who sabotaged Mongoose did not know that they were saving the internet. They did it because he was uploading every day and his videos, they sucked. He was the Ed Wood of your say with less skill. But it was a good thing because his plans were about to become fruit. Now, I knew Mongoose when he was in Peru. He was working for me, and we were adjusting the size of morgue refrigerators for the native population of the Indians there in the Andes. Their bodies were much smaller, so what we had to do is we had to cut these refrigerators in half and adjust their sizes. That is what our business was. He was in Peru because of a business failure in the United States. The market for paper boys had dried up, and he was living there with his girlfriend Juanita, who he loved very much, but Juanita was very flat-chested, so she needed a breast enlargement. So one day we decided to get a breast enlargement, and we went into the village. We got into our boat and crossed Lake Titicaca. On the return journey, something must have happened to the hull because the boat started to sink. I cannot swim, and neither could Mongoose or Juanita. And it was a very lucky thing, because if it was not for her breast enlargements, we would not have been able to float. We were hanging on to her boobies for about 14 hours before help came. So I owe her my life. But this changed her. She all of a sudden had these wonderful boobies that everyone was looking at, and she saved lives with. So she had this air of superiority, and she left the mongoose because she was too good for him. This hurt him very deeply, and he decided to go back to the United States and find some way to be worthy of her.
So Mongoose left for the United States, and he had big plans.
Yes, there are going to be chance coincidences that would change everything. You know, it is a very small world, but the plane tickets are still expensive. So Mongoose crossed the border in Tijuana, and south of San Diego in this bus station, he meets Stephen Venus. This helped them both because Mongoose was very boring, and Stephen Venus was very weird. So they fit like hand in glove. They decided to join forces and proceed north to Los Angeles. They booked a trip on Beagle bus lines, not Greyhound bus lines. But unfortunately, Beagle bus lines don't maintain their equipment very well. So they had a flat tire on Route 15 outside of Poway. So Venus and Mongoose decided to hitchhike. And on the second day of hitchhiking, they were almost run over by a man that you know as Gort Evans, who was driving on Route 15. He was trying to light his cigarette and swerved too close to the shoulder and almost killed them. So he felt very guilty about this, and he decided to give them a ride.
That is an incredible chance meeting that they all would be together in the same car.
Gort was living at a commune at this time, and that's where he was driving to. The people at the commune did not know that his name was Gort Evans. They called him Klaatu. Now, Gort Evans, from a very early age, had a hobby which can only be described as being a mad scientist. When he was 10 years old, he wanted to fly through the air like Superman. So what he did was he glued dead flies to his underwear and tried to animate them with mild electric shocks. Of course, this did not work and was very painful, but he continued on with his experiments. He moved on to small lizards and dead birds. Now, this fascinated Mongoose because Mongoose felt that if he could dig up dead movie stars and reanimate them, he could make a zombie Gone with the Wind or a zombie Casablanca and make his millions like that. So that night was the greatest experiment that Klaatu had yet put together. He was trying to animate this mouse. And Venus and Mongoose got a little bit too close to the experiment when Klaatu flipped the switch, and this energy plasma rose up and enveloped them and caused them to merge. Now, this was unexpected and horrified Klaatu, and Gort Evans ran off into the wilderness, and he never returned to the commune after that. But this Mongoose-Venus hybrid glowed so brightly that people could see it for miles, and people thought that they were looking at a UFO.
And this combined being set out to then take over the internet?
Yes, this Mongoose-Venus hybrid was now intent on taking over the internet, which was totally different from the individual motives that they had before. The merging perverted them.
And he was going to use the Guano Islands Act that was passed by the United States Congress in the 1800s?
So what they decided to do, the hybrid, is build a raft and put it in the middle of San Francisco Bay. They would then adopt 12 sled dogs from the local animal shelter and put them on a treadmill for electrical power so they would be off the grid. The Guano Islands Act would help him because if you have guano, which is bat manure, you can mine it and you put it on an island, or it is on an island, for fertilizer and claim that island as your own. He was going to put bat guano on that raft and claim jurisdiction.
Now the members of Liveleak sprang into action. What exactly did they do?
Well, the first to try to sabotage the Mongoose-Venus hybrid was Lou Bruno, who built a glass block case around the hybrid, but this was easily broken and was a failure. The next to try was Danny Jock, who became pig vomit for a short period of time. He dove into a recycling bin in order to change into his alter ego. And what happened was he used one of his powers, which is magic pig manure, and he slimed it all over the body of the mongoose Venus hybrid. My God, bat manure, pig manure, there's a lot of manure in this story. Well, did you expect anything less? But the final killing blow came from Stressman's video, and it utterly destroyed the Venus portion of the hybrid. It floated away and reconstituted itself probably somewhere else. But Mongoose, after that, was in a much reduced state. Yeah, he is probably weeping in front of his tiny little hibachi right now. Yes, we will have to leave it right there. Thank you very much, Mr. Heshiba, for joining us today. And this has been Liveleak Investigations. I'm Professor Iggy Noramus, and this has been MOS Productions.
Mongoose is finished, man. Just another flash in the pan, and his routines up all the latrines. King of the trolls, yeah.